Hello and welcome to my new podcast, starring with me, Migs, as your fellow host, and here introducing my fellow dad.
Hello, everyone. I'm Phil, and
Welcome to Gen X to Z. So,
Z or Z?
well, I mean, technically, most of our audiences are technically live in either America or the UK, so it doesn't. It's a matter of preference, really.
So for me, it's gonna be Gen X to Z.
Okay.
But you are
Gen X to Z. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense for me to, say Z because I'm also from the UK and all that. But never mind all that. So what we're going to be here to talk about is, initially it was meant to be like an anime exclusive thing because where we talk about classic anime from your time, Gen X, and from my time, and so why don't we, discuss that topic? So
we are going to discuss that, but I think it will go further than just the generation difference.
Yeah.
Because also is a cultural and the way I absorbed anime as a young person or as a young child, and where I was geographically. Yeah. So you have an experience of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, in English and in Japanese with subtitles.
I mean, yeah, that's true, yeah.
I have come from a generation where we actually watch everything in my original language, that is Italian.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is, maybe a few people will know, but it's the second biggest market after Japan, and is quite important for the Japanese anime production.
I see. And how do you think this all came to be in the first place?
Well, as far as I can remember, there was no other option. So when we come back to school in the afternoon, obviously that was before Netflix.
Yeah, like before the age of streaming.
Before the age of streaming, we did have Blockbuster, but that was just at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
We are talking late 70s, early 80s, so I'm Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no option, so you come back to school, and the only thing that we had on TV was Japanese animation.
Wow, really?
There was no Teletubbies or Bob the Builder. Or
there was basically none of that like children's cartoons that you typically see, or like in America it's like Kaiju, for instance.
Yeah, no, exactly. We grow up in a different time where violence on TV it was accepted, and if you go back to the first ones, we are talking about Tiger Man. There was basically a manga and then an anime based on the Japanese lucha libre or Japanese wrestling that is called catch.
Catch?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I thought sumo is considered...
No, No, we are talking about a style of lucha libre.
Lucha libre?
Yeah, like a Mexican.
Okay.
And they used the mask as well, so the main character was Tiger Man.
Okay.
And finally enough, also another important character was a real catch sportman called Antonio Inoki.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, because it's... Okay, so the way you phrase it's interesting because, when you compare, so... What were the type of shows that you actually watched as a kid?
Okay, we are talking about nursery age, so we are talking about 4 years old.
Yeah.
Probably even younger. We were watching what we just described, Tiger Man, but we were also watching a lot of Roboto.
Roboto, I believe I'm not sure.
Like Mazinger, Jig.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Mazinger. Oh, wait, is that a mecha?
Yes.
Is that a mecha anime?
Exactly. So I remember my lunchbox was a Jig, and also you need to bear with me. Probably we will have to search because most of the titles I know, they are in Italian. So I don't actually know the English version of the Japanese one.
I guess like if you look up like something like Mazinger, I think it'll like if you like Google it, it will instantly be recognizable like as Mazinger, because if you don't know, Mazinger is considered to be, you know, one of the most influential anime in the classic period, right?
Exactly.
Along with Gundam. Actually, now that I think about it, have you ever watched Gundam?
I remember watching Gundam, and I remember what else was at that time, Babi Junior.
Babi Junior.
Yeah, but also Mazinger. There were two. There was the Grande Mazinga. Uh-huh. Yeah, actually, I want to tell you as it was for us. Yeah, it wasn't Mazinger. It was a Mazinga.
Right.
Probably sound even more Japanese, Mazinga than Mazinger.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so there was Mazinga Z or Z, and then there was the Grande Mazinga, so the Great Mazinga. So there were two series. Then I don't know if both of them were distributed worldwide, but then it was in Italy. So, and we're probably going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
There are some specific anime that, even though they were no longer distributed in other countries, they were specifically created like multiple series and generation just for the Italian market.
I see.
Yeah.
There was this one. I remember this one anime, or I think it is an anime. There was this one called the bump. It was about a bee, like a.
Maya.
Maya, yeah.
Yeah. It was a big one.
Yeah, because like, I've seen it before when I was traveling with you, like on a holiday to Spain, and it was somehow like showing up, like, you know, older like episodes of that show.
Yeah. But the one I don't remember from the top of my head. And then I think it will introduce us to the fact that we are going to talk also in next episode, because it's too much information. So we need to split it in different themes of anime.
Yeah.
And on the sport one, I remember there was one called Jenny, and she was a girl, and she was a tennis player. And there was also, if I remember correctly, we had 2 seasons, or at least 2 different generation of Jenny the tennis player.
Jenny the tennis player.
Yeah, and the second one, it was produced exclusively for Italy.
I see.
So no one else has it, not even in Japan.
Damn. I mean, yeah, you know, now that I think about it, it's like when I look up, like, you know, like the stuff that are, like, you know, mainly broadcasted like in Europe, basically, like, it was hard for me to tell whether they were actually animated in Japan or not, because like
I don't know that, but originally I believe if you're talking of something back to the 80s and 90s, it must have been.
I mean, yeah, and you know, so it's kind of, you know, it is kind of strange, like how like the whole. How like back in like even like in the West, like anime like in the 80s, like it was really like acknowledged as like a very like niche, extremely niche thing to get into, mostly because like fun fact, so during the 80s, like there was this whole like this whole like conglomerate of hyper violent OVAs during the 80s.
I have
like,
no idea what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing, because like it was through the millennials that rediscovered anime through not just, you know, the 90s boom, like through Dragon Ball, but also from like from those OVAs that are.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't know what you're talking. Probably we need to tell our audience. I don't know shit about what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm winging it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I think this is literally the first time we're doing a podcast.
Migs is the Anorak here. Yeah, he's the expert. I'm based all of my information in memory of what I remember as a child. So, and I think I'm gonna keep it this way. I will learn with you, but I'm not gonna research.
Yeah. I understand what you're getting from. I mean, it's just that the thing is that even like when you were growing up, and so you were growing like in the 70s, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm from the mid 70s, so mainly I was able to remember most in the 80s and all.
Yeah, because like the thing is, because like those those OVAs that I mentioned, so they were
Can you explain me OVA what it is?
It means original video animation. So it's basically basically like think of it as like a show that has never gone to like TV broadcasting basically. Yeah, so they're essentially like like properties that are like they're not necessarily shown on TV, but like are distributed via exclusively on like tapes or DVDs.
Oh, like VHS. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's possible because at the time we used to go to buy videotapes at the newsagent, especially when we are talking about something like Japanese animation and mangas.
Yeah.
So, or you actually bought a manga, yeah, and it came with the tape.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if they. I think they still do it today. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't.
Probably not in a big market where there is streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even nowadays, like you can still technically buy physical media. Like, there's no denying that. It's just, especially like when you go to conventions and whatnot. Like, there is there are obviously how do you call them, the the place, the stands where they only sell like physical media. Yeah, and but the thing is that whenever I go to a convention and the stands that I go to that sell said physical media, they're only comprised of like DVDs from like either the early 90s to the mid 2000s, and of course it is. That said, it is rather hard to look for one of these OVAs from the 80s, considering that for one they are over the top violence, so understandably.
Yeah, but it was so normal for us.
I mean, yeah, but then again, it's not really for everyone per se.
Well, if you just remind me talking about that, the utmost violent of them all, they was late 80s, early 90s. It was the first of the North Star. Kenshiro.
Fist of the North Star. Like, okay, that I just like to remind you, like everyone in the anime community knows of that.
Yeah, but for us, it was something that we talked the day after in school.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that really just. But Fist of the North Star is kind of like. It's kind of like the epitome of like the hyper-violent action thing. Like it inspired many modern anime that my generation knows like today. Like, so for example, like there's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Dragon Ball and whatnot. Like
well, I was still in my teens when Dragon Ball started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the really first generation.
I mean, yeah, the original Dragon Ball, right? Not the Z.
No, come on.
Oh, come on, like everyone knows that Z was like the one that really hit the anime.
Yeah, but the original one was so much funnier.
I mean, yeah, like here's a fun fact. I actually read through some of the early bits of Dragon Ball, like the original, and yeah, you can really kind of tell of how much like different it was compared to the more.
What? Yeah, exactly. Because apart from the violence, they wasn't actually not that violent. It was actually quite entertaining. There was other parts that probably nowadays for you are unacceptable. Yeah. For the Z generation and also for the Alpha generation, even more unacceptable. But the hypersexuality, they was implementing it. So the behavior and that was quite spread all across anime in that time. Yeah, it's nothing. It wasn't just the original Dragon Ball. Yeah, there were a lot other style of anime that always had included this kind of behavior.
Yeah, like perverse behavior.
Yeah, extremely perverse.
I mean, yeah, like as an anime fan, I don't really find it all that surprising, to be honest. Because here's the thing, because what's interesting about how have you ever heard of the term fan service? No. So fan service. So it's kind of like one of these things that are they tend to look down upon because again it's mostly relevant to that like perversal behavior, but this time instead of the male characters acting with condoning said perverse behavior, it's more like the sort of like the camera or the way like they reformed like the females' bodies and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but probably there is a connection also with the culture of the country where is produced such material. Yeah, don't remember the anime also has an adult version, the hentai.
Yeah, no hentai, and like of course, like hentais were always like. I mean, even like before,
They always existed.
I mean, yeah, definitely, obviously. It's just, but the thing is that I think it was like throughout the noughties and even now, like it's now starting to blur the line between like what is even hentai or like or even like a proper anime anymore, because trust me. Like, you don't know this, but there were like a couple of shows like they were on streaming like legitimately. Like I think it was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like there was this one show like that was like it made like a controversy upon the anime community. It's called Interspecies Reviewers.
Okay, that sounds awful.
I mean, yeah, yeah, and so it's basically like, I mean, like I'm just gonna kind of say it's about brothels. Like that's what they are. It's all about.
By interspecies, that means
Like it's about fantasy monsters.
okay.
Yeah, like, so it's basically about a bunch of guys, just going to certain brothels comprised of different, fantasy, girls and whatnot.
Yeah, of course. Different species.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's from there that where people start to like. They're unable to fully distinguish like what's even like comprised as even like as a normal anime or even a full-blown hentai anymore, because it's about brothels and obviously.
Well, can we talk? What is this R-rated channel? This one? Or?
Oh no. Well, I mean, to be honest.
Ours podcast.
Well,
we can talk about freely about this stuff.
Well, no, because like here's the thing: they don't show it like the sex outright, because like okay, but still like. Yeah, like the age restrict. It is still like age restricted in some capacities. Like, of course, when we talk about ecchi, which is basically the subgenre for said fan servicing moments. Like, it's basically like it's not hentai per se, but they does still like which shows like the bosoms and whatnot.
Yeah, but why? Okay, I gotta take the advantage of what we are talking now, so that we can also explain what's gonna happen later.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need your help, and we are gonna come back to this kind of discussion of how the erotic fantasies that were implemented even in really innocent or more childish anime. Yeah, well, I'm gonna explain in a minute, but you probably need to search online because I have no idea of the English name or the Japanese name. But anyway, so every week we are going to talk about a different anime.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about anime about sports.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I think even that one we need to split it in two parts, because there is just sports, and then there are violent sports. Like Tiger Man.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, because the way you approach sports anime in your generation is completely different from how I approach sports anime in my generation. Because the ones that we know today are clearly like in the internet like ecosphere. Like they're the most well known ones, because like the ones that you mentioned, like barely anyone knows them.
Wow. Okay, it was probably. I remember it's probably the biggest one ever. Okay, for many reasons. First of all, because Europe as a continent is mostly football fans. Yeah. For the American audience, we are talking about soccer. Yeah. So football, the one where you play with your feet, the one that you kick the ball with your feet.
You don't have to explain that.
And I have no idea of the Japanese name, but for us it was Oliver and Benji.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before actually.
That one, they also, I believe, also had a spin-off. They, as many other spin-off, is either the brother or the younger brother or the cousin or somebody else.
No, wait, I think I know where you're getting. Is the time? I'm not sure if people recall this, but I think that there used to be a classic football manga.
Well, it came out in the late 80s.
Well, yeah, but there was also another one, or I believe it's the same thing. Like it's called Captain Tsubasa.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know.
But anyway, Oli and Benji, yeah, it came out in the summer. I don't remember in which year. And this is a summer when, remember, Generation X. We didn't have. There was a TV with the VHS. So summer, it means that as soon you wake up, you had breakfast, and you were on the street. Yeah. But this anime became so big that every afternoon at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., everyone was going back home, all together to one home. So you can imagine you will have probably 10 to 15 kids in one living room watching Oli Benji for those 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how big it was. Yeah. Fun fact, because we didn't choose at the time they will show on which channel, I have never, ever seen the end of an anime series.
I mean, that's understandable.
I've never, because probably they were dropped by the TV channel they was paying for the rights, or I missed it, or I grow older. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much one of the biggest cons of like mainly like broadcasting TV, like especially like when you consider the streaming service put into it, because nowadays obviously you can just like choose and watch whatever you want till the end, right?
Exactly. But anyway, one of this sport. Actually, I think we are going to split it in 3 parts this sport, because there is also a sport comedy.
Oh yeah.
So you go a serious sport, you go violent sports, and then you go basically everyday life as a joke, but at the same time is around a sport. And the one was Gigi.
GG.
Gigi, he was a really, really short Japanese boy.
Yeah.
They play basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bike ironic. But the most, going back to what we were talking before,
Yeah.
he was always freely talking, and we are and discussing how he loved why female panties.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the I mean, it's still actually a trope to this day, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Actually, speaking of basketball, there was one like particular one that really hit the strides in the anime community, especially like that it's still like leaving marked to this day. Have you ever heard of Slam Dunk?
Nope.
Really?
No.
That's like one of the like all-time like regarded as one of the best like not just like sports like manga or an anime, but like best manga in general. Actually,
When did it come out?
it came out around like in the 90s. So I mean, obviously
I was already in London.
Yeah, you're already living in London. Yeah, and the fact because like, but the thing is that even
actually talking about that in the 90s, yeah, if you were in Italy. Or Spain, actually, as well.
Yeah.
And you like anime, you were okay. But in UK, there weren't.
There was nothing. There was no distribution. Not until like I guess at least the noughties.
When they started coming in DVDs.
Yeah. I think it was around the time the big 3, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. That was when like people started to take notice in the UK and America.
Yeah,
and
probably someone is gonna then comment. Oh no, I used to watch it every day on
Channel 4.
Well, yeah, no, okay, but yeah. Yeah, it is still kind of because a guy that I knew from my university days. He's from Italy, and he is really into Slam Dunk. I think he has like I'm not sure how much value he has like personally, but he's like he considers it one of his all-time favorites, and I bet if you were to,
just 10 years younger.
If you still lived in Italy during the 90s, then you would definitely have heard of Slam Dunk.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You've seen how big still is in Italy everything about anime. When we were last summer there, in the center of Turin, how many Japanese theme shop were in one.
Yeah. Because like I remember, because literally, like I legit bought like a couple of like those books over there. I bought that. It was basically Gon the dinosaur, and the fun fact. So Gon is about like a dinosaur that traverses like through the wildlife. I know it's just like, and there's no words. Like no words whatsoever, which is good for me because I can't read Italian, obviously. But so yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I never really noticed just how widespread like the manga marketing or distribution it was in Italy until I actually entered one of its stores. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, like when you go to like in the UK, there are still whole tons of it, but in when you compare that to Italy, like there's just so much more, like so many of them.
Yeah, and then there's more than one shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's one after the other.
Yeah, like it's unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Oh well. why it was interesting.
But also not just that, but they've also even managed to distribute manga that you can't even like read in English, like in the UK. Like Gone isn't available in the UK.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, there are tons of manga that were popular not just in Japan, but even in Europe as well. Like there was like Kingdom is a very famous manga, and yet for some reason it has never gone in the English localization, like never.
Well,
and I want to read it so badly. I know.
Well, you can read it in Spanish, probably. Yeah. So probably we should explain why I have a really funny accent, and
he's from Italy, in case you didn't know.
well,
not completely Italian. I'm also half Colombian, so there is a multiple background in this house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my accent is just weird.
Well, yeah, so is mine, obviously. But
Yeah, actually probably is even weirder because you are born and you live your entire life that we can still see from a front door the hospital where you were born.
Yeah.
But you still don't have a British accent.
Yeah, no, I don't. I guess you could say it's more like a conglomerate of American, like Latin, something like that. But yeah, anyway, so ignoring our accents aside, yeah, it's really interesting to see, like, compared to what types of shows that you tend to watch compared to everything else that my generation tends to see, because when we tend to see in most anime nowadays is mostly just like the shonen-esque type of anime, like so right now nowadays it's mostly just, well, it can be just about anything really, but aside from the shonen stuff, there's also, you got slice of life, you got romance, and
okay, so we are going exactly because I thought we were digressing, but then you came back to the information. I just didn't understand shit what you were saying. So we are talking about the different kind of anime. So
Yeah.
we did the sport one, yeah. Then we should do the robot one.
yeah,
Robot.
robot one, yes.
Yeah. So there's many. I don't know if they still do it.
I mean, no, they still do, but actually, I mean, okay. So here's the thing. So the mecha genre, as of late, it's been kind of been dying out as of late. Like they're really, like, not every, like, aside from the Gundam series, not everyone has been clamoring for like another new like mecha series as of late.
Actually, one interesting thing talking about Gundam, and probably I'm completely. There was another one about Voltron.
Oh yeah, Voltron. Yeah, no. Here's the thing. So they actually remade it, but not as an anime, but as an American cartoon.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's on Netflix.
That is a thing that I want to introduce with Voltron, because the Voltron was the one with the 5 characters.
Yeah.
That is actually quite interesting because those 5, the penta existence, it keeps repeating itself. And it's quite in different genre.
Transformations.
No, just the fact that there were the 5 characters.
Yeah.
So you always have the alpha. There is good looking. There is an hero and everything, and then you have the silent intellectual guy. Yeah, there is also interesting in his own way.
Yeah, I think
It does remind me a lot of Captain Kirk and Spock.
Yeah, from Star Trek.
And then you have the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always one girl that is basically bringing some reason and the kid. Yeah, the teen.
You're just legit naming like every type of archetype in a group centered hero.
That's where I learned it from. It was all of the Japanese anime because it was repeated constantly. It didn't matter what it is, and what there was the
I mean, yeah, like I get what you mean. Like, there's always a formula to it. Like, it's also the same thing with it's still to this day with many other shonen anime. Like, sure, while the concept is kind of similar in terms of how it's playing out. Like, there's always fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. But the way it's played out, it's always interesting and different no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you got there's Jujutsu Kaisen, which revolves around curses. And then there's My Hero Academia, which revolves around superheroes, obviously. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. But the thing is, despite them following different concepts and whatnot, they all tend to play the same thing. It's always fight scenes that showcases the main characters, willingness to achieve their goals and whatnot. Or I guess you could say that. Well, I mean, again, because that's kind of what it's all about. Because the whole shonen type thing, it's mainly aimed at young teens, and it's mainly used as like a service as a well, it's mainly to showcase, to fuck it. It's hard for me to to put into words while not being scripted.
Okay, no, but there's the funny part of it. We are not scripted. We are just talking out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Mind you, we are so noob at this.
Yeah, but it's a nice chat. So let's continue on the different theme that we are going to talk about it. So, and I'll ask you something because I don't know. I remember there was one that was actually not even translated. It was just called Masoni Koku.
Masoni Koku.
And it's one of it's basically a telenovela, yeah, like a soap. There was a daily life in a house. The Miss Ikoku.
Okay.
It was the.
Masoni Koku. I know that one actually. It's okay. So fun fact.
What is that genre called?
It's a slice of life.
A slice of life.
Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing. I know what you. I remember that name that you said. So fun fact. So Masoni Koku. It was illustrated. It was made by the same author that it made one of the most influential harem anime to come out called Ranma Half. Have you heard of? Really? No. Okay, so it's really interesting because I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. Like it was popular in the 80s as well.
I probably know with a different name.
Well, there's also
So what's the story?
it's basically about a guy who's forced to be engaged with a girl.
Yeah.
That she's from space with the blue hair and the little tiger ears.
No. Okay, okay. I think you're going about this the wrong way. So it's about a guy who's not only engaged with this girl, but is also whenever he gets doused with cold water, he gets turned into a girl.
Oh no, it's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about, the guy that was also engaged to this girl, but she was an alien anyway.
Oh no, that's you. No, that's another one. That's by the same. No,
and
you're.
It's called Ataru Moromashi.
Really? No, I was thinking you were saying Yatsura.
No, in that case, you are two different.
No. Okay, because that's the thing. Because it's also made by
different genre. Because we are talking about just now fantasy.
No, it's called. Technically, it's the harem. You know what harem is?
No.
That's why you that to me.
Yeah, no, because basically, so the Masoni Koku. So what you get? So it's, I guess you could say it's one of the authors more lesser, but it's more chill series. But during the 80s, she was on a grind, man. Like she was like making more than one manga 24/7. Well, exaggerating, obviously, but yeah. So what made her work? I can't remember the name to who she was, but I remember that. So what made it work so impactful was just how, it got sorry, I'm just gonna edit this. So what made her work so impactful is how it manages to conduce both romance and comedy blended so well together, and the way and of course, with it being a manga, there are some jokes in there from the 80s that hasn't exactly aged that well, but most of the time, it really does make you look at the whole harem genre as a whole and see where their influences stem from, Yeah. And it's kind of amazing how even to this day they still remain, relevant, Yeah. Yeah, and so it makes me, kind of glad that even when you have these type of shows that are not exactly not for the age of I guess 5 or whatnot.
Well, it was for us.
Well, yeah.
Different generation, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. But nowadays, obviously, they tend to be a lot more tolerable, or less tolerable. But even then, most anime fan, even us to this day, we can still, get a little into it, with the whole, fan service vibe. Now that, going back to the whole, fan service bit, it is interesting to me to see how these authors not just mangakas but in terms of everything related to Japan can challenge themselves and what is seemed acceptable in terms of sexual graduates and whatnot. Yeah, because but even so most people in the West especially they just tend to see past that. They just tend to ignore that, obviously, because it tends to, at first it tends to gross them out.
And
probably you're talking about more like the English-speaking countries.
Well, yeah, I know.
Because I don't think we will have the same issue if we go back to Italy or Spain or France. It's a lot more open about the whole idea, the sexuality being a comedy at the same time.
Well, yeah, okay. Here's the thing, because I'm not just talking about sex played as a joke, but I'm talking about like how far can you go the line between not being outright creepy.
Well, you're asking the wrong person.
I mean, I know.
We have a porn star as IMP in the past, so in Italy. So.
Okay, just to clarify, like clearly, I'm just gonna play it out. Clearly, you haven't seen shit nowadays. Like,
No, I haven't.
No. Well, it's fine because I don't. Even if I were to recommend you some.
No, that's the whole point. We are looking at it at the same culture. That is actually so big. There is basically multiple cultures now, but we are looking at it from two different and completely different perspectives.
Yeah.
And they are dictated both by our age.
Yeah.
And also by the technology that was available when we were actually consuming the products. Yeah. Let's call it a product by even
or content.
Content, whatever. Yeah. Exactly. So there are two items, and also probably we should also add cultural differences. Yeah.
Really? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously.
Because there's obviously a difference between Italian culture, English, and American culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Because I think we have talked for a long time now.
I mean, yeah. Just a reminder, this is our very first time doing a podcast, so I think because usually we thought it was going to last for an hour or so, but I think we're already running out of.
No, we haven't finished actually because we did the sports.
I mean, yeah.
We did the. How you call it, the one with robots?
Yeah, Mecha.
The Mecha. Then we did everyday life. And what about things like One Piece? What is in which category you put something like that?
I put it in shonen. And that's a shonen. Yeah, One Piece is a shonen.
Okay. Yeah. And everything about supernatural stuff, things like that.
I mean, there's trust me, there's like a whole different kinds of genres that, like, even like to this day, even like apart from your timeline that are being made, or like I guess I could say like oversaturated in today's market. Like, have you heard of isekai, for instance?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So any case,
I heard of Sailor Moon.
I mean, that's a magical girl.
So, what?
A magical girl.
Yeah, and so there is another genre. There is any magical transformation. It goes into that category.
Yeah, pretty much.
There is a lot of them because I remember even they were so creepy. If you think about that, but there was basically a child.
Yeah.
Transforming into a young adult pop star.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of get that, but aside from that, there were just, I mean, there was a lot of like very interesting, takes on what anime is like nowadays, as well as how anime itself has been evolving, throughout the generations, and I think it's interesting, for the two of us to discuss, what our main takes on it, and I mean, like for example, Dad's take was that it was very popular in Italy, growing up back there.
There is one thing that before we close I'd like to say, and then probably because it's so unique that I don't know how to actually connect it to the rest of the other episodes, but there was in Italy a fashion, let's put it this way, that all of the title of the anime were sang by the same person.
Oh yeah.
And this woman is still today is extremely famous, and she still make
Italian? Like, you mean like Italian openings?
Yeah. All of the anime, they had the Italian version.
Oh.
And they were sang by a lady called Cristina D'Avena. If this podcast ever become famous, probably should be our first guest.
I mean, I don't know.
But she still does nowadays concerts where Generation X actually go to the concerts.
Jeez.
To listen because also there was another evolution of that, and there was like rock version by adult bands of all of the cartoon theme songs.
Damn. I mean, that's
So-
wild if you think about it.
So I really, we are talking about this today because I don't see anywhere else where to introduce it in the next episodes.
I mean, shit. I mean,
Probably we will just do a small parenthesis, and I probably actually have to do a bit of research and actually find out the kind of music if there has a name. Yeah. Obviously, we are not gonna play any of it because
Copyright.
Exactly. Yeah, but we can tell you the names of the people. You can search yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I believe this is a good time to close off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy listening to us, and we'll hope to see you again sometime next week.
Exactly, next week. And I'm Phil, and you are?
Megs,
And we are?
Gen X to Z.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Ta-ta.
All right. See ya. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.